Jay, thanks for joining us today.
Of course.
If you don't mind, would you introduce yourself, what you do?
Yeah, my name is Jay Clouse. I'm the creator of Freelancing School, which provides training and community for freelancers.
Okay, it's a little bit of a transition from what you've done in the past.
It's new.
Very
a little
cool.
bit of a transition. Not all that different. Different in the style of delivery, not different in what is being delivered. A little more specific in who it's being delivered to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. So obviously you've had some experience. What provoked that change?
I wouldn't call it a change so much as an evolution in addition. You know, for the last almost 3 years, I've been running Unreal Collective, this accelerator for founders and freelancers. And what I found was I was repeating a lot of the same advice for freelancers in particular. And so I had the opportunity to create some curriculum with LinkedIn Learning and lynda.com. I took that information and repackaged it and now decided I want to make this more broadly available and bring in even more information that I didn't get in the first swipe and make that available to as many freelancers as I can.
So it's more of a curriculum as opposed to a collaboration.
Yeah, the core of Freelancing School is a set of online courses around business, selling, marketing. It's highly structured in terms of curriculum. Unreal does not have curriculum. It is high on structure, low on curriculum.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did that because of your experiences. So was there a hindsight moment that you can remember that you were banging your head against the wall and you wish there was more structure?
I feel like my life is just a collection of hindsight moments. But no, I wouldn't say there was a moment that in hindsight spawned Freelancing School. There are a lot of hindsight moments now that I'm doing that. You know, one of them being I've written something like 500 blog posts.
My Lord.
As I've done an audit on that content, what I found to be my best next step with that content is to actually delete almost all of it. And that is because it was not written from the starting point of, I want to help this person do this thing. And so there is almost zero search benefit to that content.
Oh.
Another hindsight point, if you're curious.
Sure.
Would have been back in 2017 when I started writing for the first time, because that was when I allowed myself to believe that I was creative. I didn't really let myself create anything until 3 years ago, because I thought to be creative was to be some sort of visual artist. And now that I've let go of that narrative, writing and creating things is the core of my business. It's what's moved me forward more than anything else.
Okay, so two hindsights. One being the experience driving you to find a want and a need for your clients as opposed to generalizing.
Right.
And then allowing you to be creative in that mentality. So let's run with that. I mean, let's talk about what experience you as an advisor bring to the table for business owners, and how do you find what that need is? How do you structure that specific need? Obviously, freelancers are a very specific niche to you, but is there something that's exciting about that you engage them in?
Well, my background isn't even in the realm of traditional creativity or art or professional services. My background was in tech and product management in particular. So back in 2014, I helped co-found a company that was a digital ticketing platform. I ran everything on the product and customer side for that. We sold that a couple years later, and then I took a product management role at a venture-backed company. So when I entered this realm of professional services and being a mentor myself or working with other creative professionals, my background was really in products. And what I found was there are a ton of wildly talented people who have big goals for themselves and high potential and very little business acumen. And that's kind of to be expected because it's a completely different skill set. But with a background in business, in product, I looked at what they could do and I thought, this is just creating products and selling it to the market. And it's not that creatives or artists can't learn that skill set. They just need to embrace the fact that if you are going to make your own path, if you are going to start your own business, you need to embrace being a business owner and operate that way. Because doing great work isn't enough. That's only a piece of the pie. And that's not even really relevant if you can't sell the work in the first place. So what I do is I kind of sit at the intersection of, okay, I understand the work that you do. Let's figure out how to productize that, commercialize that, bring that to the market, and find the people who could use that work.
Very cool. So when you engage your clients, you're engaging them from a point where they're wildly creative and a little bit chaotic, and you're providing them open advice in a structured format to help drive that to a new level so that they can experience growth, to experience more opportunities for creativity. That's pretty cool.
Right. And it's a spectrum. People are all over the spectrum in terms of how long they've been in business, what they're struggling with. But at the end of the day, most of the time it comes down to business development and even business management to understand, how does my business operate? How do I budget for things? How do I plan a cash flow? And then how do I market myself, sell the work that I need to sell to keep the lights on?
Business is an evolution, always moving.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think a lot of people can't grasp on when they're chasing that immediate need when they first start, especially as a freelancer, because most people that end up in a career of creativity or branding, or I guess when you're going from being a freelancer to something that's full-time, it's hard to make that transition if you haven't learned the structure and you haven't learned the business management needs,
Yeah.
and you haven't had somebody to help guide you along the way. So
Yep.
if you could take that moment and really depict what it means to be proactive with those clients, what do you think is the most engaging thing that you can do for them?
I think there are a couple things here. For one, you have to understand what you're offering and to who, and know that not everyone wants what you're selling. And even if they do need the service, they might not want to work with you. So at the end of the day, you need to figure out for yourself, who are your ideal clients? What are they struggling with? How can you help them? How do you message that to them in a way they understand? And then it's about lowering the barrier to saying yes as low as possible. You should understand them so well that you can hear their specific phrases and the things that they're saying, repeat that back to them, and package it in such a way where you are saying, I understand your needs. I am certain that I can deliver on them. I don't believe I can do it. I am certain that I can deliver on it. It's going to cost this much money, take this amount of time. You paint a picture of a future where they have that work done and their life is better because of it, and you say, would you like to get started? And if all they have to do is say yes and sign the check or submit the payment, and you lead throughout that process, that's the best case scenario. They're coming to you because they need help.
Yeah.
And if they need help, they may not even know what that help looks like. So you don't want to leave it to their imagination what your work could look like or what a future with your help could look like. You want to lay out for them, here's the future. I can do this for you. Does that sound good? And if they just have to say yes, that's where things get really easy, because they say, I know exactly what is going to happen here. I am confident and I trust you because of your certainty, and I'm just going to say yes.
Oh, I like that, trust and collaboration. But one of the main pieces I'm taking from you is simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, right?
Yeah.
Leo da Vinci.
Yeah.
If you make it really simple for them and have them buy into their need and their dream, you can drive the process and elevate excellence.
Yeah. When people are confused or uncertain, they get a little bit insecure because they feel like they don't understand. And then they feel like, if I don't understand, maybe I'm dumb. And then they start to resent you for that if they feel like they don't understand what's going on. If you can make them feel comfortable and confident that they understand what the process will look like, they're going to say yes.
That's a good piece of advice. I like that, because there's been times where I have felt ignorant and dumb, but then I have to remind myself that I'm not alone. I've got a team of advisors and colleagues that I can reach out to and find the answer to. And if I don't know it, there's nothing wrong with telling them that I don't meet those standards, because it might not be in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
You know, I come from an environment of risk management. I'm not a creative professional, and I'm definitely not a process efficiency or structured, management.
There's probably a lot of creativity that comes into risk management.
There is a lot of creativity.
We need to loosen the definition on creativity.
That's true.
Because we're beating it out of people.
That's true. No, I like that. So what do you mean by loosen the definition of creativity?
Any act can be a creative act. The way that this set, to address the fourth wall here, the way that this set is constructed is creative, because it's not textbook, here's exactly what you need to do. It was looking at the constraints and saying, I'm going to build a solution for that constraint. That's a creative act. Writing something down can be a creative act. Figuring out a different way to address the risks that are inherent in this specific situation is a creative act. And what we've done is limit the word creativity to people who are visual artists or performing artists because it's easiest to understand. But really, when you're solving problems, that's a creative act. Given that you have a new set of constraints, a new set of inputs all the time, creativity is most things that you do if you embrace that and allow that to be true.
Very cool. Thinking on your feet and communicating in real time.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Is there one piece of advice you'd like to give business owners or advisors out there on how to be more proactive in that relationship?
I think anything that you do, whether it's talking to somebody or whether it's creating a piece of content. A lot of people are posting on social media, they're writing blogs, or doing podcasts, or making YouTube videos, or doing whatever it is. The best piece of advice that I've found to be true for content that I've made that's been useful is that it starts from a point of, I want to help you blank. If you're not thinking about what you want to help the reader or the viewer or the listener to do, then there's not much of a reason for people to pay attention to that thing you just made instead of the bazillion other things that are being made at the same time. You've got to know that if this is for somebody else, it's serving some sort of need. And if you don't know what that need is, then it's probably not going anywhere.
We're all drowned out. We've got to cut through the clutter.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Jay, thanks for being with us today.
Sure. Thanks for having me.